was at the coffee shop today and I overheard a woman speaking to a younger lady about a situation. And although I didn't really get the details of what this conversation was about, there was a specific thing that was said that really resonated with me. I really could hear that this is definitely one of the problems we deal with as a culture and as a world in general. And what this lady's advice was to the younger lady was, don't trust anybody and don't believe anything anyone says. Trust is an interesting thing. Trust is another word for truly connecting to what is in another being. It has nothing to do with your ideas or rules or regulations about how that being should act or should be. Even if that being is dishonest, it has nothing to do with you. You can still connect with the being anyway, if you wish. So this isn't a conversation about whether you should or shouldn't connect. But it is interesting how the mind comes up with a lot of ideas of why you should not. Why you should never trust, never connect, never love, never become one with anything other than your own separateness from everyone else. This is a recipe for disaster. If your highest ideal is to be separate, you will always be alone, and you will always be stuck in the mind, which is the center of your thoughts, emotions, and suffering. The mind is the I. It's the one that says, I am this, I am that. And it's only through the relinquishing of this I that bliss and heavenly experiences become yours. So there are many ways that you can maintain the I, and one of them is to never trust anything or anyone. I suppose actually this is a good time to teach this. If you don't trust anyone or anything, and you also don't trust your thoughts, don't trust your emotions, don't trust what your senses tell you, that would actually be a doorway to enlightenment. That would be the onic way. That would be the way that Ramana Maharshi would teach. Know who's the one experiencing. Don't get caught up in the games of the external or the senses. So I would say yes, if not trusting is your path, we'll at least do it all the way. Don't even trust yourself. See? But the type of non-trust this lady was saying is about don't trust certain people, but then trust your perception of those people. So the enlightenment path is really about all or nothing. What does trust mean? The way trust is usually used is there are certain pieces of information that you are not aware of, and you have to blindly accept or know that somehow your desires will be met, even if the object of your trust doesn't even know of them. So you have a certain expectation of someone. They might or might not know what you expect of them, but your trust is just assuming that they will know and that whatever it is you wanted will be delivered to you. So trust is based on a lack of awareness. I don't have to trust gravity to know that it exists. I don't have to trust the wind to feel it on my skin. And although the wind won't meet my expectations at times, perhaps I want to fly a kite and then the wind is not strong enough to do so, there's really no trust involved. There is awareness. understanding the nature of the wind. If you are truly aware, trust won't be needed. You'll be aware of who or what you are dealing with and how to connect to them in a harmonious way for both parties. So often people are trapped in the mind game of expectation. So the only way to get them out of this mind game is say, okay, trust and have faith and put it in the right place. But the only reason why this trust game is being played with these people is because they are blind on a certain level. They are unable to see for themselves what is really happening. But if they had the awareness to know, they would be able to work a harmonious agreement between them and this being, a harmonious dance. It's akin to having a tiger in a cage. I could throw a steak into this cage, and if I had a certain idealism about, I trust the tiger, it's so nice to me, it's not going to eat the steak, that doesn't change the behavior of the tiger. The tiger will eat the steak. So my awareness would teach me this. I would not have to trust the tiger to meet my expectations. I would be aware, if I'm aware of the tiger's nature, if I'm aware of everything, I can still connect to the tiger anyway. I don't need to be separate in my internal beingness from the tiger because the tiger ate the steak. You see that the lack of trust has to do with us not connecting to reality. It has to do with a reason to disconnect. Reality doesn't meet our expectation and we say, okay, I'll disconnect from that. But disconnection can only happen in the ego. Who you are cannot disconnect. Who you are is already connected. So this causes a prison for you, a trap, where you never enjoy your own essence. You sit in some part of yourself, the land of the mind, and you never are free to feel the world around you again. So one way you can get around this is let go of your expectations of others and really watch their nature and work in harmony with the nature of those around you instead of against it. And if the nature of those people does not suit you, then move on to people that do. There's no right or wrong in this. But it's always about being aware of what is right for you and what is right for the other person. But this does not involve shutting reality out. It's always around being more aware and in touch with reality. There are many beings around us that don't do things that make sense to us. But does that make them less magical? Does that make them insignificant because they don't meet the little games we play with our mind? No, because each of these beings has something magical to offer, even if you are not aware of what they are offering. So I say to this lady, if ever a day comes where she watches this video, there is never a reason not to trust. True connection will show you what is needed in any one moment. There is never a reason to shut down your awareness of what is happening. The reason why things happen between people is because people aren't aware of the nature of people around them and beings around them. They've chosen to turn a blind eye to their awareness of what is happening, and then tragedy befalls them. This is a very long conversation, so I could go on for hours. But this is the gist. Never shut down your awareness. Never find a reason to disconnect from reality. And as your awareness expands, you'll become aware of more and more things that are right for you, and you'll have greater discernment of what needs to be done in any given moment. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.